So welcome everyone. We still have people coming in. So today we have the privilege of talking to Noah. Noah is one of our own. He's been through Eretmis. He's a cybersecurity professional now working. And Noah is a true testament to when we talk about you don't need a degree to start a cybersecurity career, because Noah, doesn't have a degree. He's working on one now, but he didn't have one when he landed his cybersecurity job. So as usual, we have the privilege of having Sheila and Captain AJ being the co-pilots. We are going to go through and talk to Noah. And Noah has a very interesting story. Noah is, it took Noah a while, right, to be able to land his first cybersecurity job. And even at a point, Noah almost gave up. He'll call me and be like, Dr. Edu, you know what? Is this really going to work? I just want to take an internship gig somewhere. I'm like, no, Noah, stay with it, right? But Noah is the type that will always come back to you with something, new. We discuss, he will move forward, and he really amazes me with the kind of professionalism and attention to detail that he always brings to the table. There was a time when he was about to go for his interview. I think they needed him to do some write-up as part of the interview. I just gave him some pointers. And what Noah came back with, I was like, wow, no, is it true you don't have a degree, Noah? Right? And you're like, yes, sir. I'm like, he's writing at the master's level. I don't know how he's able to do that. I just blows my mind. But Noah is a pretty smart guy. But today, Noah is going to share his story, so everybody's going to know his whole journey, how this whole thing came about and how he ended up where he is and what he's doing now, right? So I'm going to leave the floor to Captain AJ and Sheila, as usual, our amazing co-pilots, and they are going to start the whole process. And also, as we're moving along, I think Noah will have to go pick his kids. So at a point, he's going to go off camera, and then he will probably be driving to pick his kids, but he's going to be around to answer all questions. So Captain AJ and Sheila, please take over. And we are streaming live on YouTube as well. So just to let you know, if you are not able to join, some days you'll be able to also watch on our YouTube channel. So I'm going to leave the floor for Captain AJ and Sheila to take over.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Edu. Sheila, you can drive it.
All right. Thank you, sir. Welcome, everybody. Today is another amazing day. We are here doing this to encourage everybody. I think that is one of the major reasons why Dr. Edu does this. He wants you to understand that everybody can do this. So we're here with Noah. The only school that I'm seeing that subsequently people are getting jobs, people are actually achieving what they intend to, and it is Eretmis. So if you're here, you're in the right place. We are talking to Noah to allow him to walk us through his journey of becoming a cybersecurity professional. So thank you, Noah, for being here. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Noah, our first question for you is, what did you do before you your new job as a cybersecurity professional?
Well, first of all, thanks everyone. Thanks, Dr. Captain AJ and Sheila. I believe we've met in the past, like not physically, but we've been able to do one or two things together. So thank you for being on here, and thanks for being the co-pilot to drive me today. So previously, I'm a student. I used to study at college, Explainy College, and I used to work as with Amazon. I do deliveries, and I also work with airline prior to that time. So I work with United Airlines. So that has been my role before joining Eretmis and before getting a job in cybersecurity.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
And why did you decide to switch? You had a job, so it must be paying you. Why did you decide to want to do this?
Well, I have a couple of friends who are into the IT, but some are just learning randomly. It's not like they are like a specialist or professional in some line. So they told me about cybersecurity and Scrum Master. So, and I was able to do a little bit of research regarding it to be able to choose the one that best fit for me. So a friend also introduced me to Dr. Edu, just gave me the contact like, oh, I have someone who coach. You can talk to him and see how things work. So I reached out to Dr. Edu, and I also reached out to the other Scrum Master teacher, someone who is doing the training. And the moment I approached Dr. Edu, I gave him a little bit about my background and where I am presently. So it was like, yeah, you can do this. This is how it works. So I think the way he approached me, the way he talked to me, and the way he really made me believe in myself and how I could land a job with a cybersecurity really made me show more interest in it. And since then, I didn't reach out to him immediately after that conversation. I took my time, do more studies, and also get to talk with some people. And when it took a while, then I then came back to him and said, hey, I think I'm ready to sign up for the class. So I did sign up, but I really think what really made me more interested in it is the way he approached me and the way he made me see things like, hey, it's not easy, but at the same time, you can do it. And you can easily land a job even while you're at school. So he talked to me about the pay, which sounds really good. And I just decided I want to take that part.
That is amazing, Noah. Thank you very much for, joining us today to allow 94 audience on this platform to hear your story. So can you tell us how you did start the process of switching careers whilst you were working in Amazon? We need to know some of the things that you did that worked for you and also things that probably did not work for you, switching into cybersecurity.
Okay. So when I wanted to start it, I was being told the class would take at least 2 to 3 hours of my time. And I got my family. So I'm like, would this be during the week or during weekend? So then I was being told we could do it during weekend. So I put in more of my time at work during the normal day. And then at weekend, I come to the class. And after studying, I do self-study, which takes me like 2 or less hours sometimes because I have other things to take care of. So, but I'm always on time when it comes to class. I pay attention to things being said in class. And I also do self-study based on what the material Dr. Edu provided for me. So it wasn't easy, but at the same time, I was able to manage the time, do the learning. And because of the family, it took me a while before sitting for the exam and also before getting the job because of my busy schedule. Because I had to work, I had to take care of family, and I also have to do the self-practice of this new course that I just find myself in a new world that I'm not used to before. So I believe that was the way I was able to put things together and then land the job. But it takes a lot of time and process from my end.
That is absolutely right.
Yeah.
Trust me. I feel your story when it comes to that because we all went through it, taking certifications in IT. It's very demanding, but it's a great investment.
All right.
Yeah. And this next question, you actually talked about it a little bit, how you decided to choose Eretmis, but I want to rephrase this question a little bit. So how did you actually land on Eretmis platform to kind of maintain your zeal and also your edge of trying to, learn cybersecurity, pinpointing that Dr. Edu will be the one help you out? I know you did mention about how he approached you. Fine. That's probably a good soft skill from Dr. Edu. Hallelujah. Kind of give us a little bit more in-depth on some of the things that really drew you closer to Eretmis.
Well, like I said, my friend introduced me, and it wasn't like my friend already had a conversation with Doctor, but it was just aware that Dr. Edu have this class going on. So when he introduced me and I approached Dr. Edu, I was able to, because I'm the type of person that I want to get along with the person that want to coach me. Even though when in school, I want to learn about the lecturers before jumping into their class. So when I approached Dr. Edu, we had a conversation, and I also pay attention. I watched one or two of his videos. So when I saw that, I saw his style of coaching, like his style of training. And I think that really caught my attention, because it's easy to find a good material out there, but how do you pass the message along to the people you want to train if you don't have the skills and the necessary things to get them to understand what you're trying to teach them? So I think that really aligned with what I'm looking for with the style of teaching that he has. And I just decided from then, like, okay, I want to work with him. I've been able to have a conversation with other trainers as well, but it wasn't as smooth as the way Dr. Edu presented it. So that was what really made me choose him, and showing more interest in that line of cybersecurity, IT. I think that really put me on the spot, like, okay, this is the right place for me. And that was why I chose to work with him.
That's amazing. Captain AJ said, hallelujah. Dr. Edu has soft skills. He's going to be a pastor too at the end. It seems like it.
Hallelujah.
Reverend Dr. Emmanuel Edu, officially. So I have a question for you, but before that, I have a side question before you answer this question for me. Do you have any IT background? Have you learned IT anywhere? I've met with a few people that did learn IT a little bit back home, or any experiences. Do you have anything like that before you started with Eretmis?
No, I didn't. I would say I know how to use a computer, but I don't know anything about what's going on behind the scenes.
Okay.
So I don't have any.
Great. Okay, so then hold on to that. Without any experience, without any cybersecurity background, to determine whether what Dr. Edu is selling to you is actually true. The curriculum being offered to you at the school, how were you able to determine that this is actually going to help you successfully switch careers? And what were some of your key things that influenced your decision to choose Eretmis? I think you've talked about his soft skills, but tell us a little more about the curriculum, how you will actually be able to determine that this is actually what is going to help you land where you want to be.
Well, I was being told you're getting, I will expose you to the world of cybersecurity. You'll get hands-on training, which is the lab trainings. And also, he was able to present to me some of the things that we need to go through, which I went ahead to do more research about that, most especially in the college that I am. So I pick up the books that we have in college, learn a little more about it, and realize that what he's actually telling me is in line with what cybersecurity is really all about. So his curriculum, I think it's more like in depth, like it has everything in it, because there are some things even that the booklet that I pick up doesn't have in it, but I'm getting it from him according to what he presented to me. So that really aligned, and that really makes me, show more interest in his class, if I could put it that way. So, like I said, what he's selling, and I've also been able to listen to other people. It's not just him. I didn't just jump into him. I've met with a couple of people. When you're pretty new in the field, I think there is this curiosity that always comes with it. Like, I want to talk with a few people to see how things work with them. And then you'll be able to make a choice like, okay, this is where I want to go. So when I get a chat with some other people, I'd be like, oh, I'll be training you how to do this. I'll be training you how to do that. But it's pretty easy. They make it seem simple, but it's not as the way they used to say it. So, but when I get to meet him, it's like, it's simple, but at the same time, you have to stay committed to what you're doing. This is what I'm going to be teaching you. This is what the practice is all about. This is what the job market really needs. And this is where I want you to be. So if you're able to work on that part, I believe you would be able to get to where you want to be. So that really caught me, and I just wanted to work with it. Hopefully that answers the question.
Yes, it's actually very, very interesting. You did your due diligence research, you got a book. I haven't heard this before, but you got a book, you checked and actually realized that what he was actually teaching was even more than what you were getting from the book. That's amazing. That is amazing. So in terms of timeline, people, like you were saying, you were told it would take probably like 2-3 hours of your day. Some people are able to do it in 3 months, 4 months. What was your timeline? Some of your milestones in the process of switching careers?
Well, it doesn't really affect my time because it doesn't affect my job life, which is you have to work maybe from morning till evening or evening till morning, which is the midnight shift. So, and the class only took place like 2 or 3 hours sometimes. What I would really say is when I jump on the class, it's easy for me to sit for 2 hours and then hop out. But the self-study, I would say, take more time because you have to revisit the video over and over again, to pick out the points that really matters. Everything does matter, but the one that you really want to do, more research on or self-training on. So that has been the most time that really consumed my time, if I could put it that way. So, but based on the class, it doesn't really affect me because I have the flexibility of doing it at the time that I wanted. And you can actually get a pre-recorded video and then visit it later, just in case it affects my time. So, but like I said, I really want to do more. I want to be, study more, but because of my family life and my work life, it took a longer process for me to graduate. to graduate, if I could use that word. And when I mean graduate, I mean sitting for the exam, passing the exam and prepping for the exam as well, because doctor was able to help during all that time for the exam as well. So that is just it, but I don't see it as a big deal of more time consuming. As long as you're determined to get to where you want to be, I think the time really worth it, and it doesn't take more than what you expected.
Well, that is awesome. But that brings me to the question where I want to dive a little deeper into you combining work at that time at Amazon, your family time, and the cybersecurity training. Because for me, like sometimes I have to stay up. I have to wait for my kids to go to sleep before I can cramp, right? So we need to know all those little things that you kind of put in place to help you combine a successful outcome, right? Achieving, your new job.
So I work Amazon. First of all, I take my kids to school in the morning, and after that, I have the time to go to school. So which is maybe from like 9 a.m. till like maybe 4 or 5. And then when I'm back home, I have to kickstart and start with Amazon, maybe around 6 or 7. I do that till late night. So what I eventually did was cut down my bills. That was where I started from. I know I couldn't cut down the family time or the time for study. But what I actually chose to do was to lose a little bit of my pay in order to be able to pay more attention to the class or to give more attention to the Eretmis class. So I started, maybe I work from 6 or 7 p.m. Amazon till like maybe 1 a.m. So I cut it down to like maybe 9 till 12. So I shot my pay with Amazon in order to be able to cover up my cybersecurity class, which what I think is I can make money. I'm making money with Amazon, but I believe it's not where I am supposed to be. So I just need something to keep me going while I put in more time for my class. And once I'm able to achieve what I want, I believe I would make more or ×3 of what I'm making presently with Amazon. So that was how I was able to juggle the time and also the pay as well.
Dr. Edu did say that your story is an amazing story. I mean, you're a visionary. taking a big investment, like that's a big risk, bro. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Well, awesome. How well do you think your cybersecurity training at Eretmis actually prepared you for your new cyber role that you are in right now?
Well, like I said, it's like a foundation to me. And without the foundation, I don't think I would be where I am right now. So without the training, I won't be able to get a job. And to be honest, the role that I got was being created for me. Where I used to work, where I'm working presently, they don't have like a cybersecurity analyst. So when I did my interview, the first one, second one, and the third one, I was being reached out to. I don't know if I'm jumping the line, but I just want to give a brief, a better background.
You are.
Okay. Okay. So it's a pretty smooth transition, not that easy, but it's really an amazing move for me to do. And I mean, without Eric Smith, I can't be here, to be honest with you. Without what I'm being trained and learn about, I wouldn't be able to get a job because I haven't been in that field. And this actually put me on the spot, and which I believe it's not just me, but a lot of people would attest to that.
Sorry, I was just pulling your legs. It's amazing. Your story is amazing. See, Michael, we spoke with, he actually performed his interview to get the job. Michael, we spoke with, the second Michael also went and had like over 20 interviews before he finally landed his job. So the exciting moment, walk us through how you actually landed the job and the fact that they created a position for you. That's amazing, honestly.
Yeah. So I've been able to attend a few interviews. And like I said, Dr. Edu always run me over, like, hey, when are you gonna do this? I know you can do it. And I'll be like, yeah, but I'm still busy with the family and work. So he's just gonna tell me, take your time. I know you can do it. But whenever you're ready, just let me know. I'll always be here to help. So sometimes I'll sit for 2 interviews. Once I didn't hear back, I'm like, I'll just let go for a few months and then get back to it later. So there was a time he actually created like a schedule and said, hey, you guys have to follow this. You try to apply for so number of job. And after that, your target should be like so numbers of interview and see, I think it's 60 days or 90 days. That is actually scheduled for us and said, hey, you guys have to work through this. If you follow this step, you would actually land a job in, I believe it's 60 or 90. I'm not really sure of that, the number of days. So I decided to take that template and try to work with it. So I started applying for more jobs, and because trust me, the moment I put in my resume, I received calls. There was a time when I started receiving calls from Indians, and I would call doctor like, hey, they asked for my resume and stuff. Doctor would say that, I know they are good people, but a lot of them are just taking in your resume to go through. You would experience that during the hiring process, but when the actually job really comes, you would know. So I actually got to interview at that time. I sit for both with his help because he always helped to prep for the interview. So when I started for both interviews, one of them get back to me. They both actually get back to me because I've did like 3 or 4 interviews previously. So that has really get me prepared for any interviews that I'm about to face. So when I was being reached out to and said, hey, okay, we'd like to move you to the next step. I did the second interview. The third interview, I'm told I had to sit with like, was this 6? And the interview would lasted for 2.5 hours. So I reached out to Dr. Edu and I'm like, I was being told I would sit with 6 people. How am I going to do that? And he said, you know what? You have been doing it and you can always do it. As long as you know what I'm not selling hair to you, just like he always said. So just go in there, tell them what you know, and see how things work out. So I sat for the interview. It was pretty good. And maybe they like few days later, they got back to me and they said, okay, you know what, I think we would consider you for the position, but we are waiting for your final approval from maybe the CEO or something. And I'm like, okay, no problem. So the other one, they get back to me. I'm also waiting for, what is it called? I'm also waiting for them to put in this request that comes in when the offer letter. Yeah. So I'm also waiting for the offer letter because I'm in Oakland, California. So the job is in San Francisco. The other one is in Oakland. So I'm more interested in the one in San Francisco because of the pay. It offers a very high pay, more than that of the Oakland. So when the Oakland job now reach out to me and saying, oh, we're sorry, we wouldn't be able to take you. But based on the process of the interview that you've gone through, we also gave you like a project that we want you to work on, which I did work on it, and they are very satisfied with it. So they're like, okay, we wouldn't be taking you for this role, but I'm trying to work things out for you. Give me a week or two. You would definitely hear back from us. So I was a little bit disappointed, but I keep my fingers crossed, and I reached out to doctor, and doctor said, well, that's still a good offer. It's a good news for the fact that they still consider getting back to you. So when my manager reached out to me, and he was like, okay, we're sorry, we are not taking you. We won't be able to take you. But based on your performance during the interview, I've been able to reach out to the CEO and propose a new role. So we want you to take over that new role. So you'll be the first person to work on that role, and we would go ahead with you. You'll be getting your offer letter as soon as possible. And I was just in a shock because I didn't believe it. And he said, hopefully you would have time, you have like a week or two to think it over if you want to take it or not. So I'm like, okay, sure. So I didn't believe it because how would you create a new role for me when you're actually looking for someone to fill in a position? Maybe you got someone in already or no, but why would you go ahead and create a new role for someone that you don't even know? So unfortunately, the following week, I got the offer letter, and that's how the journey begins.
That is an interesting story. It's very interesting, but very great. That's great. Yeah, congratulations again.
Thank you.
So this is a question that people always want to know. How do you start your day? What do you do as a cybersecurity professional?
Okay. Actually, I work from home. It's an hybrid job, but during COVID, everyone was home. So all I have to do was to check in the morning, maybe at 8:30 or 9 a.m. First thing, sign in, check my email to see if there's anything that comes in. And then I think my role is pretty different from normal roles that I've seen out there. And because I'm working in line with engineers, with developers. So my role is to check on the new vendors that my company is about to onboard. So that has to do with checking the integrations and checking the permission and the access that we need to grant those new vendors. So I had to, if we have like a new vendor, because it's a new role that was being created for me, so they have like a backlog of so many vendors that they have been working with, but they need to review them. So I had to pick on each vendor, do a proper review, analyze them, and then submit it to my manager. So it's not like a 1 hour thing or 2 hours thing, but it's something you can actually get busy with at your convenient time. Analyze it. It takes like a week or two just to complete a review process of a new onboarding vendor. So that was what my days like. I always pick up that, and I'm also able to join meeting because I'm being scheduled for for a lot of meetings. My first month at the job was pretty hectic because they got loads of videos that they want you to watch that details about the company, what the company is all about, and where they want you to be. So I was able to go through that process, which is the onboarding process. It takes a while because the video was so much. You meet with different type of people, you meet with the CEOs of the companies, and after that, it's just a normal daily routine. Like you choose what you think is best for you to do. And once you have all those projects, you have to finish up with it and then turn it into your manager for review. So that has been my day-to-day activity. And it's supposed to be 9 to 5 or 9 to 5:30. But if you're able to complete your work in time, you don't have to sit there. Just keep checking on your email. If you have any meeting, you join the meeting and you move to the next day. So that has been it.
That sounds like a well-structured organization, Noah. You're blessed.
Thank you.
Moving on to the next question. You have a very calm demeanor, right? But we really want to hear some of your non-technical skills that actually helped you in getting the job. Because it looked like when you did an interview, all the companies actually wanted you. So help us understand some of your non-technical skills, soft skills that you kind of have.
Yeah, just like Dr. Edu always analyzed to us, I believe non-technical skills, which are the soft skills, are more important than anything else. Because most of the job, they want to access you from that point. You may know everything, but if you don't have those soft skills, they don't want to work with you, from my experience. So, because when my manager first approached me, the way we had our chat, it wasn't like a job interview. It's more of like relationship. So they interrogate you. They want to know how you do with group of people, if you have been able to work with numbers of people, and your relationship with them, how you get along with people. Having how you handle situations when maybe something arises and you're always there. They want to know how you work in team, like how you work with your team and how easy it is for you. So it doesn't really have to be in the line of cybersecurity, but as long as you have that soft skills, how to approach people, how to deal with stress and stuff like that, I think that is like 60% of what they are looking for. And the rest, the technical skill, would be like maybe 40 to 30%. So I believe they really find that interesting in me, and that was why they choose to go ahead with me. Because with the group of the people that I met with, we are able to have a good chat, laugh things over, and even they are willing to help you out during your interview questions, because they don't expect you to know it all. They just want to get you on board, but they want to be sure you know what you're talking about and you've actually had the experience that they needed. So soft skill is very important, and it's still playing out because now we are back in the office, and it's really playing out in my day-to-day role.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We will now jump into talking about some cybersecurity tools. You did mention that you work alongside with most of the software developers. That is a big, part of the whole cybersecurity realm, talking about software development, life skill. And you are the guy who is vetting most of these vendors. Now, that's a lot of credibility that you need to kind of test to before, the company really joins contract or agreement with them. Can you help us understand some of the tools that you're using vetting most of these vendors?
Okay. So presently, I'm working in line with the GRC team, with the Lego team, and the procurement team. So I don't use any tools at the moment. Although the procurement team has their own tools, the GRC team has their own tools. But my role presently has to do with doing an in-depth review of other vendors, which is their security postures, how they structure their own secure IT space, their own cyberspace, the integration that is taking place between the vendor and my own company. So I have to be the one to look into that. And that has to do with you doing more research, asking questions, reaching out to other vendors to get their security architecture diagram, which is the way we put it, of how they structure their own system. And then I'll be the one to analyze it, make recommendations on the best permission to grant them, and also to review it to see if they are requesting for more access than what they need to be. I'll also be there to look at some of the GDPR to see if they are in line with that. Although it's the job of the GRC team, but I have to be sure that the data that we are sharing with them is being protected in the right way, and they're in compliance with whoever they are supposed to be. But the company has a lot of tools. We use CrowdStrike, we use OneTrust, we use scanning tools, but like I said, I work hand in hand with the engineers. So I'm work with the developers, and what we're actually looking at is what the system is integrating with, which is what my system or the platform, Everlo platform that I work for, what they are integrating with, and the right permission to grant them. I think that's it's way off the normal everyday today cybersecurity thing, but that's just the way, based on what my company does, that's the approach they take in getting other vendors in to work with, in onboarding other vendor, if I could put it that way.
Hello. So, quick question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Isaiah, can you please give us a few minutes to finish asking our questions, and then we'll give you time to ask your question, please, okay?
No problem.
Thank you, thank you. I feel vindicated, Noah. Now I feel very vindicated, because when I tell people that I'm a cybersecurity analyst and I don't use any tools, people look at me weird. Now you're one of us. So it is true that it's possible. Every cybersecurity position does something different, and that's exactly what Noah is saying. So it's amazing.
Right.
You were driving for Amazon and doing different jobs, and then you decided to switch to cybersecurity. You had your goals, you set the money and other things in place, and then you made this huge sacrifice, and then you shift, and then here you are. You've actually achieved your goal.
Right.
How do you feel? Because some decisions we make, we actually achieve it, and then sometimes you feel like, I wish I can take it back.
Well,
But now you are here. So how do you feel? Do you feel like you've actually achieved your your goal? Are you satisfied?
Yeah, I feel great, but at the same time, not satisfied yet, if I could put it that way. And the reason why I would say that is simply because, I wish I had put in more time for myself. I know it's pretty hard based on the life we choose to live out here, to let go of what you're doing and to switch career. It's not really easy. It's not an easy thing. But the reason why I said I feel satisfied is that I believe I got what I deserve and what was being promised to me. Because it's not just like I said, it's like a job that it's like a class that just fell out from the sky, and someone's selling something to you and you're buying it. So you don't know what comes up after that. But what exactly is being sold to me is what I got. So I feel blessed to be able to take that class, to participate in that class. Because friends that introduced this to me, they didn't take that route, but they are still out there doing nothing right now. So now it's easy for me to talk to them like, hey, come on, let's do these things together. So in that way, I feel blessed. But when I said I didn't like not haven't got it yet, is I'm still looking forward to take more class, you know, to do a lot of things. Just like Dr. Idu always say, you know, it doesn't end there. We have to keep going. Because cybersecurity, to my understanding, it's not just something you learn and you put your hands down. You have to keep learning. You have to keep joining the community. I know I always join, not every class, but I watch videos even after, video is being made by Dr. Edu, because you have to pick out one or two things that actually affect you, would have a big impact on your role where you're working presently. So in that case, I would say, yeah, I'm still pretty much hungry to learn more, but based on what I expected, it has been more than my expectation. And I feel really blessed, not just happy, not just fulfilled, but I feel very blessed to have the opportunity to work along with Eretmis family and also to choose this career path.
Phew. Goodness. You scared me a little bit when you said, I'm not satisfied. I'm like, man, this guy is not satisfied. But you make a lot of sense. And I feel the same way. There's so much knowledge out there that we can, and it's like we just started. So I get your point, and it's great to feel that way. You see, there's a lot of people on here ready to learn. They're ready to listen and encouraged. Can you tell them something? I know you've shared your story, but I need you to advise them. Some of our people feel like, I don't think I can do it. This is not for me. Is it possible? There's so many doubts. And so, but the person has made a choice to be here. That's the first choice, first step, which is good. So give them something, some advice from you will be great. Thank you.
Yeah, I believe for you to build on something, you need a good foundation. So this is why I believe Eretmis comes in, and where finding yourself here, it's a good opportunity. And I feel blessed to be able to work with Dr. Edu. I think I met Captain AJ a few times, and I've also been able to meet with the group, with my team, that we were able to work together back then. So I would say it's not an easy process. It's not a simple thing to do, but just like Doctor always said, if it's easy, everyone will be doing it. So one, you have to be determined. You have to know what you want. Because I have a lot of people out there who have all the certifications, but they actually don't know what they want. And just like Doctor always said, it's not about the certification. It's about what you know. And for you to get something, then you have to be here. And I think the sacrifice, you have to be determined and be ready to sacrifice for it, because it's not just going to come easily to you. But once you're determined and ready to grab it, you have to, it might take a while, but your determination would keep you going, and believing in yourself that you can actually do it. And if you run through any problem, I believe Doctor is always there to help out. You may not get the answer that you want from him, but if you actually think over with the answer he gives you and reprocess it, I believe you would. He already gave you the solution, but you just don't know it yet. So once you reprocess it and try to figure your way out about it, because people, to me, I think we all want to get this answer like, hey, go do it this way. But sometimes it would push things to me and say, hey, okay, you can do it 1 or 2. And I'm like, he's explaining to me. I'm not typing this thing down. How do you expect me to understand what he's saying? But the moment you pick 1 or 2 things from it, and because they want to challenge you, it just don't want you to sit there thinking it's going to come to you easily. But what he's saying to you is exactly what you need to know. And in cybersecurity, which I think it scares a lot of people, there is all this terminology being used, these acronyms or the name like cybersecurity analyst, this and that. It's just a title. But when you get to know it pretty well, you know it's really nothing. So everyone can do it. I would encourage everyone to participate in it. It's not as hard as we think, but at the same time, we just have to stay focused. We have to stay determined, and you have to know what you want. So if you think it's the field for you, then trust me, you're at the right place and at the right time, because this is just the beginning, the way I say it.
Thank you very much, Noah. Those are very, very humbly, pitched. Thank you very much to our audience. We won't wait too much time. We'll just transition over to some questions from our audience. They are itching to ask you a lot of questions. Hopefully you have enough time to provide responses before you go pick up your kids. Sheila, over to you.
Thank you. Isaiah, I promised you were going to ask your question, so please go ahead.
So my question is, according to what he's saying, he works with a team that they do the onboarding and stuff from the vendors. Does it mean that he works with a third-party management team?
Yeah, I would say it's like a third-party management team, because I'm working with the GRC, with the procurement, and the Lego, so they all manage third party. So we work hand in hand.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. This question, I think you probably just answered. You are not working for a law firm. Kweku Poku was asking if Everlaw, you're working for a law firm.
So Everlaw, it sounds like a law firm, but it's a heat discoveries company.
Okay. Jermaine was asking, did you need any certification before landing this job? What kind of certification did you actually get before landing it?
Well, like I said, I was still in college when I got the job. So my college degree is still in process. And also I already completed my Cybersecurity Plus,
Okay,
which is the CompTIA Security Plus. I have that. And that was what actually landed me the job.
okay. Thank you. Tony, you're asking if the training is conducted live, virtually, or in person. None of the class is in person. All of it is virtual. Some of them you will have Dr. Edu on live actually conducting the class. And then some of them is also pre-recorded. But you always get the chance to interact with Dr. Edu whenever you need him.
So Sheila, I want to come in real quick and ask
Yes,
this question. I want to ask Noah, how long did it take you to, I mean, from finishing the class, how long did it take you to really land your job?
Well, I took the class and it took me about close to a year before landing a job. I think it was a year or more. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I was just asking you just to put it in perspective. It takes some people maybe 2 to 3 months. Some people, it can take you almost a year. Some people a year plus, right? So just to let you know, there is no shortcut, or nobody's telling you it's going to take you 3 months, and within 3 months, it depends on, how much effort you put in the job search and all that. And also a little funny thing on the side. So with Noah, when Noah was done with the class and he was ready for Security Plus, he was actually supposed to take the 501, right? That was when they just started the 601. Right. So, there I am thinking Noah is taking the 501, comes back with a set for 601. I'm like, you registered for the wrong test, Noah. Like, yeah, but I took it and I passed. Like, really? Because I mean, that is how much effort Noah put in, because 601 had just come out, the 601 test. Everybody was taking the 501. I advise everybody to take 501, because whether 601 or 501, you still have Security Plus. But then Noah registered and then came back like, Noah, you registered for the wrong one. Like, I didn't know, but I mean, I took it and I passed. And like, he passed really good. So great job, Noah. But just to give, to let everybody know, It took Noah almost a year, more than a year to land this job. So it didn't come easy, right, by any measure. All right, go ahead, Sheila. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Isaac, you can go ahead and ask your question, please.
All right. Thanks, Sheila. Thanks, Noah, for your story and all the kind inspirational words. It's motivating to listen to these cyber chats that Dr. Haidu organizes every now and then, mostly on Fridays. And we appreciate that. My question has to do with the job that you do daily with the vendors. Now, before you onboard them into your company systems, you mentioned that you review their security posture and other things. Can you give us some details as to really what do you consider, if you can, few things before you allow them to be, before you recommend them to your manager before they come on board? Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So basically what we're looking at is the infrastructure that they have in place. We have the GRC team review their SOC 2 reports, SOC 2 type 2 reports, and we also have them review their privacy and as well. So I also have to go through the privacy review, go through the SOC 2 as well, and also analyze the kind of data that they will be accessing on our platform.
Right.
So once the data is being analyzed, then you would base your security research on that. So for instance, they are accessing PII, customers PII. What security posture do they have in place to keep those customer PII safe?
Right.
That's number one. Secondly, if they are integrating with your system, how is the integration taking place? Is it via API, or is it via just normal username and password sign-on? So if the username, if it's via API, what access will you need to grant them? Maybe a read and write access, or the access to read, write, and delete. So that depends on the kind of file or the kind of data that they want to access. So for instance, I came across one that says, okay, they would need the access to read, write, and delete your Google file. So that way, that is like a red flag. Because if they have access to your Google file and they have the access to delete it, then you are left with nothing. Even if it's by mistake or eventually hackers have access to it, they are taking that away from you. So that way you would tell your company, hey, I think this is a good company. They have this in place, but they need the access to delete. So we are not granted that. But if it's like a little thing that's not more of a concern to the company, then the company will be the one to decide like, okay, it's not much of a risk. We can grant that access. And also I have to be the one to respond to the phishing. I forgot to include that because in cybersecurity, phishing is like one of the top priority of what you have to deal with. So right now I have my work laptop next to me, observing any phishing emails that comes in. So we have to keep our workers aware of phishing and how to report it. So once they report it, I have to be the one to take it over, investigate it, and then go to either Google admin, if that's what the company used, to then escalate that phishing response, mark it as phishing, delete it, and then give report on it. So those are part of what I do. And hopefully I'm able to explain better based on the integration that you asked about.
Oh yeah, definitely. Thank you. Thank you so much.
My goodness, it's amazing. With no cybersecurity background, nothing like that.
Yeah.
Noah, how long have you been doing this?
Well, it's about going to eight months now.
Oh my goodness, people, I'm telling you, this man is not selling us air because he built it up so great that when you get the job, it's like a smooth sailing because the way Noah is speaking, it sounds like he's been doing this for like, what, 20 years. Wow. Your knowledge is great, Noah. I'm very proud of you.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Cheryl.
So third party, Rejoice is asking, this is a third party risk management role, right?
Right. No, it's a security analyst.
Yeah.
But the role, it's pretty broad because the company, I think why I enjoy working with the company is actually the fact that they want to expose you to a lot of things. So like I said, I'm responding to phishing response. So checking files, hashing, running them through to make sure. And as time goes on, I think I'll be doing more, maybe sitting with the team to go through the vulnerability scan and make recommendation of fixing all those vulnerabilities that the company has. So it's just a gradual process. I believe they are just trying to make you settle in, understand what the company is really all about, I mean the product, and then keep pushing you. And we also have this part that they sell to you like, oh, with your experience, if you want to be an engineer, they can actually fit you in.
Nice.
So with that, they expose you to the engineering section because I'm working with the engineering team. And after I got employed, they hired someone else after me. So I have a partner right now that I'm working with, but it's just two of us in that role.
Nice. It's
Yeah.
amazing. There's room to grow. That's
Right.
even better. Yeah.
Mhm.
Freddie is asking, if a vendor does not answer the onboarding questionnaire, what other ways do you use to verify their risk?
Well, if the vendor doesn't respond, if you think there is a way you can review it without asking them some questions, maybe they have, because you have like, I have this conversation yesterday with my partner, and we have this vendor that they want you, if you subscribe for it, maybe normal users, maybe like 5 users on your enterprise, and you subscribe with them and you reach out to them regarding their security postures. Sometimes they just ignore you. Or sometimes they will tell you, oh, which subscription do you have? If you said, oh, just the normal users, they'll say, oh, we only respond to those who are enterprise, who subscribe for the enterprise. So they're just going to ignore you because to them, you are not that important to them. So in that case, you can actually, if you can find their documentation online, which is their developer documentation, it's easy for you to work with. And if you measure the risks around it, if it's not that much, the company can go ahead with them. But if not, you just have to let go because you don't want to expose yourself to any outside risk or third-party risk. Okay.
This question is from Melissa and Al. They are asking the same question. What class did you enroll in at Eretmis?
That was the cybersecurity class. I think it's for the beginner. That's
the entry level?
Yeah, the entry level, right.
Okay. And then I think you answered this question already. Kweku Poku is asking currently what certification, but I think you already answered it. You do have security plus, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. And then I think you and Dr. Edu answered this too. Joel Mensah asked, how long is the training? Oh, actually, no. How long is the training and the cost? That we've already explained it in different, people have talked about it different ways. It depends on you. How long the training takes depends on you. The class is pre-recorded. So you can decide to finish this in 2 months or in 1 year. It's up to you. The cost also, when you go online, you will see the cost and then the breakdown. You get the option to pay it all in full, or you can also break it down and take and pay it in installment also. Okay. Noah, did you take both entry? Okay, so Jermaine said, Noah, did you take both entry level security, cybersecurity and security plus class before landing this job?
Yes, that was what I did.
Yes, yes.
So, quick clarification on that one. Noah took only the cybersecurity entry-level course. Now, everything that you get in the entry level is way more than you need to even sit for security plus or security analyst, right? The entry level, the intent behind it is to help you on the job. What are you going to do on the job, right? So not just to pass the certification, but you get so much knowledge and skill that is easy to scale security plus, is easy to scale security analyst, right? But once you're done and you're ready for these exams, we give you some material to just go in to help you at least see how the exams will look like. So, but if you are taking entry level, you don't have to take the security plus course, because everything that is covered in security plus is covered in entry level and then some, right? So, and then plus with the entry level, you also get to sit in the workshop / internship. And I also wanted to ask Noah, so with the internship that we did or the workshop, how well did that help prepare you on the job? Are you using anything from that on the job? And there are a lot of people here. I think Vandy was in class with Noah when he started. They were both in the class, but Vandy just took a sabbatical leave for like a year. like ending of last year. So how well did the internship / workshop help you, or how is it helping you on the job?
Thank you, Doctor. When we started the internship, I believe that because the internship is like having a car without a fuel in it. So the car is there, it has the 4 tires, it has the engine, but doesn't have fuel in it. So the internship is like putting a fuel in the car to keep the car moving. So it was really an amazing experience, and it really builds your confidence during interview process. For example, I keep telling people, if you have your interview, forget whatever is outside of that box. Just think about your internship and base your resume, your knowledge, base it on what you experienced during your internship. That would actually get you the job, because you are talking about things that you know, things that you've done. And just like someone asks, if you do I have any experience in Windows and Linux operating system? That is part of the training, because the training will teach you how to have hands-on. I don't know anything about virtual machine until I joined Eretmis. So playing around with virtual machines and stuff like that. And also, even up till date, I still go back to my class, which is the cybersecurity class, to do a little bit of training. I still touch up on some videos, because you can't get it all, but I keep reviewing it, go back to it. Oh, encryption, okay, this is how to encrypt. And then I pass it on to my job, because that is what keeps me going, and that's what makes me better in the line that I am today. So all these experiences is really important. But just like I said, whatever you have in the class or whatever the internship gives you is actually what you need. Because I documented all we did during the internship program. I put it in written. We work on a lot of things. So when being asked during the interview, have you worked, for example, how have you deal with your teammates? I remember my experience with the team during the internship, how we disagree, how we agree. So that's part of your soft skills. I put it in. Okay, so what did you work on? Oh, we were able to build, so what we actually did during my own internship was, we have this company that we are able to help them look into their IT architecture right from the start. Like, we are drawing the background from the start, working on the data privacy, a lot of things. I forgot the exact things, but there is a lot of things that has to do with reviewing their assets. And all these things, when interviewers hear you talk about them, they're like, even them don't know it. And you are here telling them about it. Like, okay, for me to be able to put all this, because I tell them on my work, we have a lot of software as a service that we are dealing with, but it's really hard to put everything together. So for me to know or to work on these things, I need to capture all of the assets first. Then you can know how to protect them and how to, in case there is any attack, it's easy for you to look into it or make a disconnection or connection when you have a clear of everything that the company owns. So all these things I learned from the internship, and I've been able to bring it into my daily life, talk to my employer about it, that this is the way it's been structured, where I come from. And you just think you're not learning anything, but you know a lot more than those who employ you sometimes.
That's awesome. I think Noah answered this question already because I asked him, and Pabna Poku also agrees that you have a lot of experience. He was asking how long you've been doing this, and you already answered that, but he said you have a lot of experience. And Joel Mensah, you're asking if the payment can be in installment, and yes, like I said, if you go online, you're going to see, if you go to the main page, you will see that you can pay it in so many different ways. Okay. We need, Shungo said, do you need any experience in Windows or Linux operation system?
Yes, I responded to that because during the class, the cybersecurity class, we have been exposed to that, which is the Windows, the Linux, and Doctor, you do have a whole section for that, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So which I did go through it, and yes, you
Right.
need it.
Right. Phoebe is asking, how many months did you go for the internship?
I forgot the numbers because I just keep joining. Like I said, I wasn't counting my days, but because even when the internship, Shayla can attest to that, when it's about to end, everyone enjoyed the company. Like we're just chatting, talking about different things every day and how to solve the problems, different problems every day. So, and when you keep engaging yourself, it's just like you don't want it to end. So I lose count of the days that I spend there, because I would love to. I told Doctor, like the next class that you're having, please can you add me on to the intern? Even though I've been there before, I still want to join, just to tell you how important it is and how that really keeps us going.
Yeah, internship is usually it's usually 8 weeks to 3 months, depending. Sometimes holidays comes in and then it lengthens a little bit, but it's usually that period, right, boss?
Yes, so internship / workshop is supposed to be 2 months, right? So if there are any holidays or Christmas break, then we will add more weeks to make up. But overall, it's supposed to be 2 months.
Okay, thank you. Melissa, I'm not sure if I understand your question. You said, what time would the group classes be held? I'm not sure if you mean the entry-level class.
I think I answered her on that one.
Oh, you did? Oh, I see that. Right. Let him know. He's very humble. Samuel said you're very humble, gentleman.
Thank you.
How is the name? Okay. How is the name of the school correctly pronounced? It's Eretmis. Eretmis Academy. I think that's all that that's all the questions we have in the chat. No, Jermaine is asking when the next internship starts.
That will start in February. So ending of February tentatively will be the start date.
Okay. Okay.
I think someone also asked about what question is being asked during the interview process.
Okay.
I think that was, I'm reading it through the chat.
Okay.
So there are a lot of questions being asked, but most importantly, there are some that is being touched on. Like when I prep with Dr. Edu, each time I have my interviews, And some of the things that I'm able to touch on was software development life cycles. They may ask you a question around that. You know, the phrase which we have, I think, like 7. Yeah. The planning phase, the requirements, the design and stuff like that. And they also ask about, you know, risk enterprise management. You know, they touch on that as well. There's a lot, but those are some of the things that I learned in class. You know, vendor risk management, that also comes up. The process, which Dr. Edu touched about that. I think we have a whole section for that. So there are a couple of things that is being touched on, and the incident response, which is very important for a cybersecurity analyst. Incident response is a very big part of it. So which I did touch on it, and vendor risk assessment, like I said. So there is a lot, but depending on the job, the job posts, if I could put it that way, the job post and how doctor wants you to, you know, to work your way around it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Austin, the internship is online. It's not in person. People are taking classes at Eretmis all over the world. So it has to be online. So it is online, not in person. Thank you. Would you recommend, Keisha is asking, would you recommend entry-level course before taking PCI?
Yes, so I'll stress on that again. If you don't have any cybersecurity background or IT background, we don't recommend you jumping into PCI, because PCI is a specialized area in cybersecurity. So if cybersecurity is a language, PCI is taught in cybersecurity, right? So if anybody tells you with no background, no IT background, no cybersecurity background, you can just jump into PCI from nothing. They are doing yourself a disservice. It's just like you trying to learn French learn engineering in French, but you've never studied or you can't speak French. So how well are you going to do in that area? So you need an IT background slash or cybersecurity background. So even with that, with our PCI class, we have 3 weeks of cybersecurity crash course where we take you through all the major areas in cybersecurity that you need to have a good working knowledge of. That way, when we start the PCI class, everybody is on the same level playing field. But if you have zero cybersecurity background or IT background, we highly encourage you to take the entry-level course first, have a foundation, understand what is going on, and then you can build yourself up on the PCI side, right? So we are not in this just to make money or just to sell you something. We're going to tell you as it is. Some people don't like it. I mean, some people send us emails asking, hey, I want to be a QSA in 5 months. We tell them, we don't know what you're smoking, but it doesn't work that way. You can't just be a QSA from nowhere. And, you know, they will just, you know, go their happy way. You can go elsewhere and somebody can tell you all the good stuff. Oh, yes, you can do it within 3 weeks. You'll be a QSA plus ISA and everything. It's easy. Anybody can do it. It is not easy. If it is easy, then everybody on here will be a QSA or everybody on here will be a PCI subject matter expert. So it takes a lot of dedication and you need a background. You know, just like you cannot just jump to become a surgeon if you are not a medical doctor or if you've never studied medicine, right? You can sit in the surgeon class, but good luck grasping anything, right? You are not really going to be not very successful, right? So whoever is taking your money will take your money and you're not going to get anything out of it. So you can only fool some people some of the time, but you cannot fool other people all the time. So we can take your money and promise you the world, hey, you know, you don't need anything, we will help you get there. But then you are going to find out later on when you start interviewing for jobs and you find out that, you know, you are running into issues and you know you are lacking a lot of knowledge. You are going to have, that is where you are going to realize maybe we didn't, you know, tell you the truth. So we'll tell you the truth from the onset. This is what you need. So you need a good working knowledge in cybersecurity or IT to be able to jump into PCI. I hope that answers the question for everyone.
Great. Mr. Odro is asking, how good is the money? You're muted.
The money is pretty good to keep you calm, you know.
Good.
So it's from like making like 20 to 30,000 to making six figures, like 100
Oh my
and something.
goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. That
Yeah.
is amazing. Okay. Donna is asking, what was the title of jobs?
What is Wicked
you
again? The
interviewed?
taco place or the place by the Target?
Keisha, can you mute yourself, please? Thank you. Sorry about that, guys. Donna wanted to know what was the title of job you interviewed for, and was you I think, were you able to study for interview based on the title of jobs?
I was interviewed for engineering security analyst role.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but just like Doctor always said, the title sometimes always pick up a big name, but at the same time, it's still the same role. Like, so sometimes I wouldn't say title should scare people off. But if you look at the job description and you think it's something you can do, then it's good to go for it. But title, like I said, the recruiter, they always put out anything there just to recruit people, and they don't even have knowledge about. Most of them don't have knowledge about it, but it's their job to recruit people. So, but the title is engineer. I'm not an engineer. I'm just a security analyst, but they put engineer/security analyst role, which is what I applied for.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome. I don't think we have any more questions yet. Oh, will you eventually do a call? Thomas is asking, will you eventually do a course on CISA? I currently work as a senior network engineer with a little bit of cyber experience, Splunk, Scan, STIGS, etc. Has my security plus, but want to get back into cyber. I think that this question is for you, Doc.
Okay, so CISA class, yeah, down the line, we'll put a CISA class out. But for now, we don't have it. Maybe probably, hopefully by the end of March, there'll be a CISA class.
Mr. Odre is asking again, how helpful was Dr. Edu in training you to get you to the level you are now? I think you've talked extensively about that.
Yes, like I said, I don't have any IT background, and without his training or without his help, I won't be able to get to where I am. And I still reach out to him in case I have any difficulties at work, and he's always there to guide me. So he has been helpful, and I think he would continue to be helpful.
Right, it's nice. I think you already answered this question too. Fonta is asking if your job is remote. If not, are you able to travel around while working? But I think you already answered that. How long did it take you to land your role? That has already been answered also. So I think that's all the questions we have.
So
All right.
do you want me to do? Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
I just wanted to ask if you want me to do a quick touch up regarding the question, or it's just okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
I mean, sure. I think Dr. Edu also talked about it. The person was asking how long did it take you to do the training? Let me scroll up. How long did it take you to do your training to be able to obtain this job?
Yeah, the training was for like 3 months. But for me, I was pretty slow with work and family life. So it took me like a year plus to get the job.
Okay, sorry. He said, how long did it take you to land a role after obtaining your certification? Actually, that's the question. Sorry.
Yeah, but you want that smoke to go out of there, Scott?
The moment I got done with my class, I took my.
Go do it. Yeah.
Randall, can you mute yourself, please? Thank you.
The moment I got done with my class, I took my certification, which I have pulled together at the same time, but it took me like a year plus before landing the job, and that's because I wasn't giving too much attention to it, being in and out. So,
okay,
yeah.
These two, please. Security analyst or IT services. Can we use these two? Okay, Jermaine. It says, Dr. Edu elaborate on these two, please. Dr. Edu, elaborate on these two, please.
Yeah,
cybersecurity. Okay, go ahead.
Cybersecurity analyst and IT security analyst. You just have to know the difference between IT security and cybersecurity. So cybersecurity focuses mainly on anything within the cyberspace, right? IT security focuses on everything within cybersecurity and then outside cybersecurity, right? So if your company has, a network, their enterprise system, and is not connected to the internet, it is not necessarily part of cybersecurity, right? Because you are not in the cyberspace, but then that is IT security. Now, everything else the company has that is connected to the internet falls within cybersecurity, but then it falls under the big umbrella of IT security, right? So we can say cybersecurity falls under IT security, but now most often we interchange IT security with cybersecurity. So it's almost the same thing, but if you look at it, IT security is broader than cybersecurity, but now we've kind of made it synonymous where IT security is the same as cybersecurity. So the analyst is analyst. So mostly they will put, both, they can interchange it, but if you want to go into the details of it, then that is it.
Great, thank you. Randall, can you go ahead with your question, please?
Yes. Can anyone share insights towards a part-time position versus a full-time position? I know there's a lot of projects and things of that nature, but say if I'm specifically looking for part-time at some point in the future, not full-time, say the first 6 months or something of this nature.
Doug, you're muted.
Yeah, okay, Randall, so I'll take that. So now part-time and full-time has become kind of funny, right? Because we have people who are doing 2 full-time jobs. So we don't know how to classify one as part-time or full-time, but if you go in straightly part-time, mostly in the cyberspace, I would say some full-time jobs are part-time jobs because it is remote, and then also there's big boy, big girl rule. So your work is project-based, like Noah was saying. If it's going to take you 5 hours or 3 hours to do the entire work for the week, nobody really cares. What they care about is, you deliver your work on time, right? So mostly part-time and full-time becomes a bit, there is gray line in between. There is a bit dicey. But most companies that I know employs full-time, remote, but I've not. So part-time is kind of really fading out when it comes to the cyberspace, because then they don't. So let's say if you are doing like a remote job, right, and nobody's chasing you around to have you clock in and clock out at 9 to 5. Now we don't know how many hours you're actually doing. So they wouldn't, we can't really quantify what you're doing to be part-time or full-time. So if you are just looking for something like that, you can combine a full cybersecurity job with another job, but you have to be careful just to see that both jobs don't conflict or they don't have too much similarities. Example is some companies just love meetings, right? They just do meetings for meetings sake. right? So if you are working for two companies like that, and everybody's meeting at 9 a.m. in the morning, the other one is 9:30, they have like meetings like back to back, then you'll be missing some meetings. But if you're working with one company that has a lot of meetings, the other company really focuses on the big girl, big boy rule. Hey, go work on this project, you know, come to us if you need help. And they just do maybe one sync meeting in a week. You can easily combine both, right? So you just have to pick and choose. That way you don't get into jobs that are too demanding, because I've seen somebody take on two jobs and then they have to go back and tell the other job, you know what, the money is good, but take your job. I'm not doing it, because it was so overwhelming with like these people just love meetings. Just sitting there, look at each other's face and just smile and talk about nonsense, right?
Okay.
And if you don't show up to the meetings, how dare you? so you just, you know, you just have to pick and choose, or, you know, choose carefully. That is what I'll say.
Okay, that helps a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. I think Kweku Poku, this is an extension of the question that was asked in terms of the difference between IT security analyst. He wants you to talk about information security too. You're muted, Doc.
Let me unmute myself. So Kweku, just like everybody else in the industry, we have all fallen victim to calling everything cybersecurity. So what we do is not just cybersecurity; it covers IT security, but we call it cybersecurity because that is the new buzzword, and people kind of more understand and, you know, like get it more than if you say IT security. People might think IT security is like physical security or like a normal security job. Even with cybersecurity, some people don't hear the cyber. All they hear is security, right? So, I mean, it's just a bad industry practice, but I mean, we are all part of the industry. So we do IT security, which covers cybersecurity as well.
All right, thank you. Linda is asking, how does the internship program work hand in hand with different start dates for the aspiring security analyst? Dr. Edu hosts one internship at a time. He runs through it, and then when it's done, then he will schedule another one. So,
yeah, so I'll share more light on that too. Thank you, Sheila. So although the entry-level course is self-paced, at every point when we're about to start the internship, we send out registration forms and we'll let you know, hey, if you feel that you've gained enough knowledge and skill, and mostly how to maybe see where you are is mostly if you have covered almost more than half of the course content, then we will encourage you to sit in the internship, right? So although the people are starting at different dates, at every point in time, we have like a group that is ready to move into the internship. So that is how it works. So let's say you finish the class and the next internship is starting in next 3 weeks or in next month, you wait and then join that one, right? But we start internships almost every month and a half-ish is how we do the internship.
I think that's the last question that we have. So.
All right, everyone, if there are no more questions, I would like to wrap it up. We are giving a big thanks to Noah for giving us insights into what he does on a daily basis and also walking us through his journey. Thank you to Sheila and Captain AJ as usual, amazing co-pilots. And we do this and we will, I think we probably do 2 more because we have so many of the students, but we're not gonna just the whole year do success stories. We are going to come back to it, circle back and come back to it. But I think we have probably maybe 1 or 2 more and then we move into something else to discuss during Cyber Chat. But we appreciate everybody's time. And we do this to encourage you, if you're already in the industry or, you know, if you are trying to get into the industry, at least you learn something from Noah also if you're already in the industry. If you are not, you know, this is to show you that you can do it. Noah, frankly, started from, I mean, I think Vandy is here. Vandy started the class with Noah, right? Although Vandy, just took some time off, he came back. So they all started from zero. That is to tell you it is doable. But like I always say, it is not easy, because if it was easy, then everybody would have done it. Right? So, but it is very doable. This is to encourage you, it is doable. And the classes, the cost, we are still restructuring the cost. So cost is going to increase sometime in February. So if you want to enroll, please do lock yourself in before prices increase. And we're starting a new PCI class in February. The first class, they're doing their internship. So if you want to join the PCI class, the live session starts, next live session starts in February. You can join and start the online version and then jump into the live session when we start in February. So I appreciate everybody's time. Everybody our contacts we posted in there. I think you might have, everybody can have access to it. Even not, just go to eretmisacademy.com. You'll be able to have access to all our courses. We have a free PCI course, a free cybersecurity for beginners course. So please, before you pay for any course, take those first, have some situational awareness, go to our YouTube channel. Also, there are a lot of good info on there. This cyber chat will be posted on there as well. And please do support our YouTube channel. That way your friends and family and everybody else within the community also benefit from it. So share it, patronize it, subscribe, and all those good stuff. We appreciate everybody's time. I'll take Shango, and then that will be the last question we will take, and then we will break for the night. Go ahead. Shango.
Yeah. Yes. Good evening, everyone. Sorry about Dr. Adu. I think I might have stepped out. I might have missed a couple of things. But when is the next cybersecurity internship?
It's going to be in February.
Thank you.
Dr. Leonard.
Yeah, Leonard, I'm tracking you. I followed up on that. You receive it maybe an hour after cyber chat. I promise you on that. Right.
Okay.
All right, everyone. If there are no more questions, I appreciate everybody's time. You could have been anywhere on Friday night, but you chose to be here. And I hope this was
one more question. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's say if you have like your siblings that live in Africa and you want them to take these classes, is that possible?
Yes, it's possible. We have students who are taking the course from Kenya and from elsewhere, and people sponsoring their siblings also. We have an organization that sponsors African youth to study. So we have students all over the world. So Canada, Netherlands. So yes, they can take the course.
Okay, thank you very much.
One quick one, Doc.
Yes.
I started your class, but unfortunately, I've been overwhelmed with other classes because I'm a graduate student. So I'm hearing you talk about increment. If I continue, am I going to be affected by the new increment in February?
No, like if you've started, right?
Right. So
even if you are doing installment payments, you make one payment, you plug yourself in. So you've been grandfathered in. So, but if you are starting afresh, then whatever price is there is what you're going to get. And also we'll be introducing deferred payments, and then also installment income sharing agreements type of deal. So just be on the lookout. All that will be posted this week on all our platforms, so you have access to it. But if you really want to do this, don't wait for the prices to go up before you try to negotiate some behind the scenes deal, because most of them that is not going to happen.
Right.
So I appreciate everybody's time. Go ahead, Mohammed. All right. So thank you very much. We'll meet again next week, God willing. And for everybody else who is in the class during the week, we are going to see each other. I appreciate everybody's time. Thank you very much. Thanks to Sheila, Captain AJ, Noah. You guys were amazing. We'll meet again next week, same time, and invite a friend, family member to join us next week as well, to also learn and share the knowledge. Thank you very much. We'll meet again next week.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Sheila. Thanks, Dr. Captain AJ. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Adu.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you, doctor. Have a good night, everyone.
Eric, thank you as well. I know you're out there. I appreciate it.